Welcome into Boskov, sir. One man saying that is fine. If that's your opinion and you're not in it, that's fine. But there is an entire market of millions and millions of people that agree that it is a store of value. So, you can think one thing, but there's also a market, and markets tend to become efficient over time.
We do know that you will always get paid in Hex on a daily basis. And that is truly the miracle that we call Hex, because it is trustless interest, trustless yield. Nothing will stop that contract from running.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Creative Crypto. My name is Boskov's Boy Crypto. I have here with me, as always, my friend and co-host Crypto Ewok. We have a big show for you tonight. We are back in the saddle again. I'm back in the saddle again. We were not here last week. Little surprise popped up out of nowhere. We had to push the show out, but those things do happen from time to time. We appreciate all of you guys being patient with us and being here whenever we get back. So happy to have you here. We're going to talk about tonight, what is the real reason that retail has kind of left crypto and seemingly not come back. We have some huge news that has come out over the last day about major Bitcoin suppression that, I don't know, could it be the answers to why things have been so horrible for the last 6+ months? I mean, I guess we'll see. And a whole lot more, but appreciate all of you guys being here. I'm pretty sure something's up with the chat, Ewok.
I'm not seeing any comments either.
Yeah, and I tried to put, I don't know if you can see what I see, but I tried to put like just a little welcome chat in there, and it's blocking me. It rejected the comment. So I don't know what's going on right now. It seems like people cannot comment here on YouTube. I have no idea why. And I don't want to dwell on it too much and waste airtime, but interesting. Don't know what's going on. Yeah, YouTube rejected your comment. Okay. Valiant Low Key suddenly is in here. So I don't know, but it rejected my comment. So maybe because I typed some stuff in all caps. I don't know. Let's do a little test. Little test never hurt anybody. Give me 1 second here.
Testy.
Yeah, that worked. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, Philly.
Yeah, that is what's going on. Valiant Low Key, Philly, appreciate you guys being here. So welcome in. Yeah. So we got a lot to get to. End of February here. Where is Bitcoin headed? Where is Ethereum headed? We have a little bit of a weird pump since last night. Nobody, of course, wants to get excited about it because, Christ, I mean, look at the last 5 years. But how are you feeling on this last Wednesday? We'll be here in February. Welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'm still hopeful. I haven't lost faith in what we're doing here and why. So that is at least good. Sorry we weren't here again last week. I had a death in the family. That's why we weren't here. I had a viewing to go to. So we apologize and we're happy to be back. But yeah, no, I'm still hopeful. And we've been talking about this manipulation for a long time. And, what's come out here in the last day is going to be a fun topic, because could that be the answer to, what's been going on? And I we've called it out week after week after week. It's manipulation, that things don't happen like this normally. For those people who have really never seen a bull market and did buy tops and higher up in the cycle, the last time, it's been frustrating, super frustrating. So I think we do have some greener pastures ahead of us, and I remain hopeful. That's all I can really say.
I think so too, and we'll get to the topic. I don't know if that I mean, it hasn't just been manipulation like you and I tinfoil hat saying it. It's been clear, everybody witnessing it day in
Yeah.
and day out as soon as the U.S. market opens every single day. So we're going to get to what that is all about because it's really running away as the big story of crypto for the last couple of days. So this is going to be interesting. Let's first off just kind of start with where we are with the market. So we have Bitcoin right now at again, it has moved up since last night, so it's up at 68K right now, a little over 68. Just the other day, I mean, it went down to 62. It's very much flirted or wicked below the 200-week moving average, I believe, a couple of times. So it's been right there. So encouraging to see it kind of come back up here, and we're seeing a little flag kind of in this area, as you can see there on the chart. So. Yeah. We have Bitcoin back up there towards its 2021 high. We've got Ethereum up 11% today. So nice to get it near the 0.03 region in terms of its ratio to Bitcoin. So we have ETH at 2064 right now. So it is moving up as well. And just, yeah, it kind of, I mean, certainly none of this is a parabolic move or anything like that, but it is a weird bounce. I guess weird because we haven't seen any kind of a good bounce in such a long time. And really, as you can see with us, I mean, neither of us are necessarily acting as if we're going to the moon. So I don't think anybody that's seeing a bounce like this is really getting all that excited, because it's just been so bad for so long. And you could just be getting suckered into it. So I will ask you, what do you make of this recent action? I mean, we're going to get to the main topic here in terms of why it could be happening in a moment, unless it makes sense just to transfer into it now. We had a State of the Union last night from Trump. I didn't watch a split second of it. I think you did see some of it.
I did.
Yeah, he talked about how hard everybody is winning, which I find kind of funny. But yeah, what do you make of this recent price action? And then anything you want to take away? We're seeing the price action, and of course, everybody tries to attach a narrative to it later. So, I mean, we may even try to do that too, as stupid as it may be to do. But yeah, what do you make of where we're at?
Well, we've been calling out manipulation a lot lately, and it's very funny. It's very timely that we do get a pump like this, and maybe it is off of that news. I don't know, but daily, at least every Monday, every Monday morning, it would sell and dump, and people would get liquidated like crazy. And this price action has just been, something that just beats you up over and over again every week. People buy in over the weekend, and then the Monday morning hits, and boom, it just drops right back down after you make a little bit of a rally. So, here we are, middle of the week. This, doesn't often happen. We usually see pumps on, later in the week, people paydays and things like that over the weekend, and then when you get smacked back down on Monday. So this is definitely a little out of the ordinary, and it's promising, I think, because we've not quite eclipsed some of these previous highs that we had back here, not quite, but we are headed at least in the right direction. So I mean, there's really not a whole lot to gather from that quite yet, but again, it is promising. And then you look at ETH, and we pull up that ratio, 0.03. It's having a look at the run. I mean, just this candle alone today goes up to 0.33 almost, or zero. It was 0.33 here at one point. It did kind of pull back and retrace a little bit today, but this is completely, like I said, out of the ordinary. And then we look at the others chart, the one that we looked at 2 weeks ago here, and it's having a nice reaction too. It basically went from about 164 billion up to about 180. So that is, a serious injection of some capital, and prices going up across the board, as far as altcoins are even reacting now too. So again, very promising. We'll take it kind of day by day. We don't want to get too excited too early, but when you do see things like this, it is promising.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. It's interesting to see it move up. Sorry, I'm just thrown off by the YouTube comment thing. I mean, something's definitely wrong because I just logged into another channel of mine to try to comment, and it acted like it commented for me as the other user, but it's not coming up on our thing at all. So I have no clue what's happening. So, yeah, sorry to you guys if you are. It sucks because we haven't talked to these people in a couple weeks, and I'd like to see what they're saying, but no clue what's going on with YouTube. I guess the dark overlords have gotten us finally. So. Don't know what's up. Anyway, smoke signal us. But yeah, it's encouraging to see this. Yes, we have been covering how the others BTC chart, which if you don't know what that is, it's basically everything outside of the top 10. So as Ewok said, pretty much an altcoin index, not including Ethereum, not including the stable coins and stuff like that. The reason that moving up over the last month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, is the whole year basically. The reason that's so huge is because all Bitcoin has done is taken an elevator straight down, which we're not acting like it's alt season or anything like that. But you would figure if Bitcoin since October of last year is just going straight down, altcoins would get absolutely obliterated, never come back. Basically, the stuff that a lot of the mainstream Bitcoin maxi people are saying is happening to them. I guess they're not really looking because it isn't really happening to them. So now, yeah, I mean, like some of them against USD, we haven't been having fun. I mean, anybody here can attest to that. But yeah, when you look at it against Bitcoin, they should be falling absolutely. They should be cratering beyond belief. And I just don't think they have much more to crater, famous last words. So still kind of holding up. So, yeah.
Well, it is a good sign too that, sellers this may be very coincidental as well, that sellers are getting exhausted. They're running out of their stack. They're, eventually these people, especially in Pulse Chain, they have to sell more. If the fact is that they're trying to get so much per day, that just like they've been doing, or every couple days, extracting value, and the prices continue to go down, that's more and more that you have to sell to get to that number. And you run out of ammo a lot faster. So, people could be pumping the brakes and saying, okay, let's hold off now because we don't want to dump at these prices, and to get the amount that we are looking for would require just depleting their stack completely. So sellers getting exhausted is another factor that could be coming in. There's just a lot of things at play, right? So I mean, it could be a combination of everything. It could be just a blip too. Next week could come and it just goes even further. So yeah, you just never know, but we will speculate at least for now.
Yeah, it's encouraging to see the move up. Trying to see. Sorry, I'm really being bothered by this comment thing. But anyway, I'm trying to look up to see if there's like some kind of outage, because I have a feeling there may be. I hope so. I hope that's all it is. But anyway, yeah, it's encouraging to see this. We don't know where we'll go from there, but definitely good to see. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say on BTC and ETH. Why don't we... I guess it's a little bit of a transition from how we normally do it, but yeah, it makes sense to cover the Jane Street stuff here because that's basically what we're getting at. So if you guys have missed this, and I know Ewok and I have been extremely busy over the last couple of days, and if that's you too, then maybe you did miss this major news. So I'm sure what you didn't miss was Terra Luna back in 2022. We all know about that. Obviously, it was honestly one of the darlings. Terra Luna was by token founded by Do Kwon, that had a stable coin. It was one of those, I think it was one of those algorithmic stable coins, which was what, TUSD or something, I guess?
It was UST.
Oh, okay. So that was tied to it as well. And it essentially rugged. And I actually, Do Kwon, I don't remember his full punishment. He certainly got punished. But I think there's a lot of people who not necessarily stuck up for him, but thought it was more so just a massive bad mistake than it was a completely malicious intent. You know what I mean? But either way, it was not good. It was one of the largest scam rugs from last cycle. And so here's what we have had to happen the last couple of days. So Terra Luna collapsed lawsuit. So was it Do Kwon? Well, I guess I got to read it, but I don't know if Do Kwon personally filed this lawsuit or who it was. But so Terra collapse lawsuit targets Jane Street. So in 2022, the collapse of Terra Luna, and there it is, UST, erased $40 billion and triggered a brutal crypto winter. Now in 2026, Terraform's, so the organization's Terraform,
yes,
their bankruptcy team has filed a lawsuit in Manhattan accusing Jane Street of playing a key role. Allegations from the filing are that Terraform removes 150 million of UST liquidity from Curve, which is just a DeFi platform. Minutes later, Jane Street allegedly dumps 85 million UST depegs, which that was really the spiral that started it all. Luna hyperinflates and the market collapses. This thing went to fractions of a penny. The lawsuit claims that Jane Street avoided $200 million in losses, profited during the meltdown, and had insider info via private chat. I don't know what Bryce's secret means. Jane Street denies everything, of course, calling it baseless. If proven true, this changes the narrative of the 2022 crash completely. Because again, like we were just saying, it was all Do Kwon's fault, basically, is all everybody ever said. Now, the real question, was Terra just a bad design, or was it accelerated? And if this happened once, could it happen again? So that's one summation of it. I think there's another one I may have sent you to. I know I sent you a few things, and I know it's probably hard to parse through. But there's a few points. Yeah, there's one. Okay.
This one?
Maybe. So we'll go through it anyway. This is absolutely insane. 10th of May, 2022, Luna crashed from 40 billion to zero. 10 a.m. Okay, and then 10 a.m. manipulation. So this is the market manipulation that you and I have been talking about for a while now, where every day, essentially at market open, 9:30 or 10 a.m. in the United States, we would see Bitcoin just get bitch slapped down basically every single day. The 10th of October, 2025 was, of course, that gigantic liquidation event where 19 billion, it was the largest liquidation in the history of crypto. I mean, which is insane to think of. The 19 billion liquidated in 24 hours, the largest in crypto history. All these events have two things in common: the digit 10, which, read into that what you want, and a connection with Jane Street, which is definitely true. Yesterday, Jane Street was sued for market manipulation, and somehow for the first time in 2 months, the 10 a.m. dump didn't happen. And partially, it looks like part of the reason that we may be bouncing right now. They say this is another reason why people are speculating that the same entity is behind all three major events. I mean, I don't even know how much I would call it speculation, at this point, because there's a lot of, maybe it's, not concrete evidence, but we also, just a little bit ago, we have them completely deleting all of their posts as well. They deleted their Twitter. Jane Street. I don't know if you saw that.
Well, I think they deleted posts. Their Twitter is still there.
Okay.
But they removed all posts that they had out there. Yep.
I mean, to me, that's basically deleting the Twitter account.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I feel like there was one other one that outlined the lawsuit maybe a little wee bit more. Maybe I'm wrong. If so, that's okay.
You gave me a Sami one. So,
that was just the that they've deleted their posts.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that was it then. But there you go. Yeah, there's a screenshot of what they've done. So yeah, this smells pretty bad. Let's read.
Wait. Here's another one.
Okay.
Or did we?
That's bait. No, that is another one, but we already said it, so it's okay. If you go back to the Sami one real quick, because he did make one good point there. Okay, so he said, Jane Street's deleted all their Twitter posts. Jane Street are deep state and satanic scum. They're the BlackRock, IBIT market makers, and took down Terra Luna, DPEG, and the manipulation. So it looks definitely very bad for them. And I don't know. I mean, I guess, what do you make overall of this story, Ewok? It is very interesting. I mean, Terra Luna is dead regardless. So, I mean, there's nothing, this isn't really going to help any of that stuff, like in retrospect. Now, it may help some of the people from Terraform and that organization, and that's all fine and dandy. We're kind of here more for the larger crypto story of like, okay, what have these guys, Jane Street, been doing to the market? How could an entity like this have that large of an effect on Bitcoin and the whole crypto, a trillions of dollar industry? You know what I mean? So, what do you make of this? And could this crime season reverse kind of, ignite the bull run of a lifetime? Not necessarily that, but I mean, could we, I don't know, stop being suppressed and maybe things can go up? I don't know.
Well, it leads me back to the whole, we've been talking manipulation forever. The banks, don't really want crypto, even though we have a crypto friendly administration right now. But everything that Trump has tried has been met with what? Resistance. So this could be them saying, well, we're not going to give them what they want again. The banks are still fighting it. Just because the administration and a lot of lawsuits have been pulled, SEC has changed completely, things like that. It doesn't mean the banks aren't still worried about it. So to have somebody like this who, when you look at their Twitter and now have 0 posts, when I don't know what they had before. I don't know how active they were. I didn't really follow them. So, not familiar with these people at all, but it makes you, it makes you scratch your head and be like, what the hell's going on? What is really, happening here? And then you see the market start to turn around too. So, it just really, really makes you wonder, right? How deep this goes, who all's involved. Um, if they really want to, though, they will find another way. And unfortunately, that's how this works. They'll find another method, multiple coordinated attacks from multiple places where it has to be a coincidence. It can't be, that's what they lead you to believe. So just very interesting. Yeah, I mean, but we've been saying it all along. This is not natural. Things don't happen like this. Especially with Ethereum not really ever even having any kind of price impact at all. Bitcoin did make it to an all-time high. Ethereum hardly for an hour. That is just, we knew something was wrong. So if this is true and it is what it is, you're correct about Terra Luna. Do Kwon, I believe, got jail time. I think he's still serving currently. However, it was set up like a house of cards, unfortunately, and this liquidation event showed how fragile it was. And again, giving your money to a middleman, we go back to Hex here. Giving your money to a middleman for yield is probably one of the worst things that you can do. Goes back the whole way to BitConnect. It was one of the first ones. I learned my lesson the hard way a long time ago. And again, bad idea. Was it accelerated? Well, it seems to be. Like, they had apparently something to do with it, especially if there's a whole lawsuit out there stating so. So we'll see how this all plays out. We'll see how the manipulation continues, or if it doesn't. And we'll have to keep a close eye on what's going on with the banks, especially.
Yeah, just kind of reading to put it in perspective. I'm just kind of going through some random posts here about Jane Street, but this is a post that got like 8,000 likes. But Jane Street was running an algorithm that dumped Bitcoin every single morning at 10 a.m. every day for months, crashing the price, liquidating retail and buying back lower, rinse and repeat. The second they got sued, it stopped. The 10 a.m. dump disappeared. Now Bitcoin just had the best day in months. One trading firm, that's all it took to suppress the entire crypto market for months. Now ask yourself, how much of the crypto price action is even real? How many people panic sold because the charts looked terrible? How many people got liquidated? How many billions were taken from regular people by a single trading desk? And this is just the first one to get caught so far. It's about to get very interesting. So interesting indeed. Obviously, we were not in the camp that sold, but yeah, it's going to cause people to do that. I mean, obviously, you want to take responsibility for your own actions at all costs. But this game is not. This game is not really for many people. It's very hard to make it in crypto. And if you've been here the last 5 years, you've really faced. Now, there's no point comparing, I guess, but I mean, you faced the hardest it can possibly be. Basically, I think. I mean. I know obviously Bitcoin was around in 2010. You had to be a complete freak to invest in it back then. But this has been tough over the last few years. And I don't know, hopefully we're figuring out why maybe there was some suppression. And we'll move forward. I'm sure this story has so many angles we know nothing about right now. They're only going to come to light later on. You know what I mean?
Well, and you bring up a good point too, man. How many are there? And I said, well, they'll find another way, but one has been called out so far. And with the liquidations, what was it? How many billions are that day?
19.
19.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been just one entity, right? I mean, there was a coordinated attack. There probably still is. But because one got kind of called out, the other ones may have been like, well, let's chill out for a little bit. I think the big thing that we find out now is who were the other ones as well. And they all get called out together. You almost have to. Otherwise they come back into play and continue business as usual, which we definitely don't want to see that. We want to see what the markets can really do. People still don't have money. Nobody's making a ton. People haven't probably gotten income tax check returns yet. We haven't seen a stimulus check. We'll see what happens. Retail's still not here. There's a lot happening. But again, when someone's got their foot on your throat every day at the same time, it's hard, and it's very, very it's frustrating, for people that are trying to DCA and put money in, and every time you turn around, it's lower than what you bought in for. So hopefully this sends us in the opposite direction, at least for a little while.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. It's an interesting development, and good to see a bad guy hopefully come down now. I mean, all they've done is gotten sued, but definitely, I mean, it looks pretty damning as far as the allegation.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It makes me wonder too why this took so long. I mean, this is 4 years in the making, 3-4 years in the making now. I wonder, did their legal team just have to gather all the substantial, get substantive evidence? I don't know.
You would think so. You would think they'd have to build a case and get the right evidence, right smoking gun, right person to talk. Maybe a whistleblower came out and said, "Hey, here's really what happened, guys." So we don't know the details obviously fully yet, but we will definitely keep an eye on it, and I'm curious to learn more.
Yeah. Totally agree. So if you guys are here and enjoying the show so far, do us a favor and hit the like button, since YouTube is suppressing your ability to speak to us, which really sucks. But I did check on that. There is some sort of international outage right now with YouTube live chat, which very weird. The hour and a half that we're on air every single week, it happens to be when it happens. So that sucks. But I appreciate you guys being here. We know you're here in spirit, and some of you sneaking in. Checks my pulse, and now his was from Twitter. I think that's why it worked. But the other two from Valiant Low Key and Philly earlier, maybe they just know you guys are loyal viewers, so somehow they let you in. But
if you want to make a comment, you could always head over to Twitter. Well, I mean, keep it on YouTube, but go to Twitter and try and comment there if you're trying to get through.
Or I tell you what, I will try, if it'll let me, I'll drop our home addresses in the chat. You can write us a letter. And,
love letters are always good.
Yeah, we'll read fan mail on next week's show. So appreciate you guys. Let's get into Pulse Chain. So we'll see where we have been in the ecosystem that we participate in over the last few weeks. Last week, basically, new lows for Pulse Chain. I'm kind of forgetting if it was last week or the week prior at this point. My notes say last week, but who knows? It's a whirlwind of shit in crypto over the last few years. So, so we saw new lows. Pulse Chain, of course, moving up a little bit with the rest of the market here today. But I mean, hey, we are kind of in Goblin Town, obviously. Pulse Chain, literally, actually yesterday was probably the newest all-time low I think we got down to. So as we sit right now, we are at 5 zeros. Pulse, the actual PLS token, added a 0 over the last week. 5 zeros, 9356 is where it sits right now, as some guy who's been selling forever is selling again or something. I saw CryptoSolve say. Pulse X hit new lows as well. 5 zeros, 7073. Inc is down to about 41 cents. Hex on Pulse is at 0017. EHEX at 306727. And EHEX has been closing that gap on Hex here lately, actually, which is interesting. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that one.
Oh, we
Yeah.
can talk about it.
But yeah, that is where we're at. It has not been pretty. Pulse, I know for sure yesterday made a new all-time low because I think it was 4.085-ish. I'm sure
Mhm.
it probably wicked even lower than that, but we've seen massive volatility lately. Obviously, this ecosystem, maybe more than, well, certainly more than a lot, is especially for a layer one, is extremely illiquid right now. What is there? Am I wrong that there's only like $1.5 million of liquidity or something at present time? I believe.
I
Somebody say.
will pull up the chart and take a gander here.
I mean, for what you would think it should be, it's laughably low. And while some people are upset about that, other people, I think, long term see it as a feature. Now, obviously, it looks horrible when prices are going down. But when prices are going up, it can do the opposite. Yeah, there you go. 1.5 million, right?
Yep, 1.5.
Insane to think of. So, yeah, and some people are kind of arguing against that. Like, man, for this big of an ecosystem, like, why is that? And we saw those changes get made. Man, it was over a year ago, probably now, when we saw like the ink inflation get slashed daily. Um,
Mhm.
what else did we see? We saw the huge hex stakes get laddered out, basically. So the hex
Well,
yield came down.
yeah, there was a lot of things. I think the Pulse X liquidity farm
Oh,
reduction was the big one.
to us, especially, yeah.
Well, for us, because we were playing that game for a while, and um, you know, if you're not getting the rewards, you don't want to really take the unnecessary risk on impermanent loss. So
Yeah.
it just was no longer worth it to provide it. And I think Richard had made a statement at the same time and said, want to cut inflation, want to cut rates. A lot of the hex got staked, so that it was to stop the bleeding. I really believe. And if people wanted to sell, they were going to sell into very thin liquidity and get it over with quicker. It did not speed up the process by any means in my eyes anyway. But it has definitely hurt the price as far as people having to dump and sell into the thin liquidity.
Yeah. Yeah, it has, and it's really seen us come down. If you want to zoom out and look at the pulse chart here, Ewok, I mean, we can look at the kind of longer term weekly or however you want to look at it here. I mean, it's not really going to look pretty from any view at all. So, yeah, there you go. Is this, what is this, daily? Yeah.
Yep, daily.
Yep, looking pretty down. Not a lot you could say. I mean, there's no real pivot point happening here, and you kind of just get the feeling. I mean, not just with Pulse, but I mean, you get the feeling that with whatever is happening in crypto, that would cascade down to this ecosystem eventually. That there's been so many times before where there's this irrational reversal in altcoin charts, especially, and I think where like classical traders treat it like a chart to be classically traded sometimes. No, I get it. If they're a trader and they don't believe in any of this stuff anyway, that's fine. They're going to trade into strength. They're not going to look at a chart like this ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
But for long-term investing, does that chart look like you're calling catching a falling knife? Yeah. Yeah, it does. And obviously that's why you don't put your life savings in all at one time. You kind of DCA. But in terms of long-term, taking a bite right here. I mean, I did it today,
Mhm.
but yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to go straight up, obviously, right now either. So, yeah, what do you make of where we are? And I asked you this question the other day. We're going to get into Richard's thoughts on this because there's some interesting stuff he's talked about in terms of. First, I wanted to go to a tweet he posted about like markets in general, and then we'll talk about his new liquidity ideas that he was talking about. But where was I going with this?
Do you want me to pull that post up?
There was something specifically I was going to ask you. Oh no, what I said to you the other day. I said to you personally the other day. I was like, how far does this go? Like, if you're an interested party, if you're Richard, I mean, again, we just talked about it. Like, it's purposely set up with thin liquidity, but is there like a point of no return? Which I don't really think there is. But I mean, is there a point where it's like, I'd rather the price not go this low? You know what I mean? For one reason or another. But at the same time, you're still seeing people selling though. And we've talked about it. Like Rock'em is what? I mean, we saw the stats. I know Sami tweeted it recently. He's gone from how many million down to only having like 5 million left or something at this point.
Well, let's take a look, because I believe there's a look into Rockham.
I forget what it is. I've never gone there, but I guess my main point is, yeah, led by him, a lot of whales have been selling the lows, and you definitely want that to happen. So it's like, yeah, how low do you want the price to go? But at the same time, clear these people out. I mean, which I'm definitely in favor of. In the meantime, yeah, it's horrifying to look at your own portfolio, for sure. And if you did exit yourself, I mean, I didn't do it, but I understand that this is not for the faint of heart. But yeah, if you find that and want to show it, you can. I usually like to focus on one person, but I think that's
no, but it's telling, and that, you know, that entity and those wallets have been dumping daily. So I mean, why not call it out? I mean, I'm not seeing it. It's not looking to Rockham.com, but either way, it doesn't necessarily matter. But when there are validators, and I know he had a bunch, or still has a bunch, and getting daily yield, you know, and just dumping the price after telling people to hold, you know, it sucks. But again, it's not all one person's, and he's completely entitled to sell. Like you know, the problem is we need more buyers, right? We need more buyers to counter the sells. If we want the price to go up at all, you've got to have more people buying in than you do selling. So that's really the only thing that needs to change. I don't think liquidity pairs or whatever it's bonded to is really going to matter a whole lot at this point. But, you know, it does stop the bleeding from other things, right? You know, when everything's tied together and somebody has a lot of one thing, everything still falls. You know, that's the one thing that it would do, would be stop the bleeding on all things, rather than what just the one that happens to be dumping. So how far is too far? Man, that is a loaded question. And I think you know, it could go lower. Would we ever see 6 zeros? Man, if we did,
throw up.
If we did, I think backing up the truck at that point would have to be an option. You know, I'm focused on units. How many units do I have? How many can I get a hold of? More than price. If you got to 6 zeros, doing a 10,000x from there, I think would be another challenge. You know, Richard would love that. Nothing more than to say, well, I did a 10,000x on Hex. I'm going to do it on other coins too. It would be super easy to pump. That's for sure. Now, how much sell-off would happen and how many people would be out by then? Probably a lot. I mean, you would have people. I think once you get to the mid-low 5 zeros now, even if it gets down to 5 zeros, 5 something, you know, we were pushing the 7 or 8, I think it was. It looks like the all-time low here is 7822, 507822. That's our
for Pulse.
Yeah.
Wow. Then I definitely didn't see that. That must have been quick, but
yeah, it was a quick. It was on the 23rd, so I guess 2 days ago. When it you know, candled down, I think it was bought back up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But again, you know, we've tested it once. Could we test it again? Well, it's possible. But I think once you start to see like I said, 5 zeros and 5 price, would be a new mental level. You know, we're down in new territory here. We're down in all-time lows. I think it would create a cascade of sell-offs, and you know, who's gonna put liquidity in dollars at this point? I don't think it's wise. I think you're, just giving up dollar bills instead of other tokens at this point. So again, I'm sure we'll talk about that topic here in a minute too. But anyway,
why don't we just go ahead and show, because you're pretty much covering it. I mean, why don't we just show the Richard Hart liquidity post? So kind of linking this to where the prices are recently and trying to answer the question, like, what are his thoughts on, where this could go? Because clearly, and it's not like we needed the Pulse chain story to know this. I mean, we already know this from Hex. We know this from hearing Richard talk a lot and stuff. He wants, if you're not, obviously we're all kind of sick of the shaking out the weak hands comments and stuff like that, but he is okay with doing that. Like, if the market is going down, he's not going to try to save people that are not interested in being here. I mean,
right.
Some people may even argue he purposely tries to chase you out, which maybe is just another way of saying it. But so his post from the other day, which is really interesting, is getting a lot of replies from all. What's really interesting is all sorts of people within the ecosystem. Like, it's very spread out. But he says, LP providers, consider bonding stables directly with Pulse, PulseX, Hex. I'm curious what the PulseX and Hex charts look like if they don't have the majority of their liquidity in Pulse. The fractured liquidity might cause more slippage, but allow each coin's merit to be more accurately valued. Heck, the liquidity is so low. If there was a good time to experiment, it'd probably be now. Like, the question marks. Here's a great thread for the thought experiment. Do remember, Cryfags get the ban. And then he also says, perhaps the stable of choice should be bridged in SDAI instead of normal DAI because it pays yield. So giving a lot of ideas, it seems, here with question marks after them. So we see a comment at the top by CryptoSolve. They say this is 100% a good idea in the current market environment. PulseX and Hex have had their ratio shifts versus Pulse, sure, but they've also been dragged down by chronically dumping Pulse. Giving them some room to move independently makes a lot of sense. Hex, for example, has spent its entire life trading in a relatively narrow ratio band with Pulse. It's down 60% from its ratio all-time high, but down around 95% against USD due to Pulse dragging it down. Interesting food for thought, and probably a good post to read first after it with the response from CryptoSolve. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this Ewok? Because I asked you, like, what do you think he's thinking with this, planning with this, whatever? And I think the first thing you kind of said to me is, like, maybe a way to stop the bleeding, going back to what we just said about when do you end this, basically. So yeah, what do you think Richard's trying to hint at here?
Well, I mean, that's exactly what I think it is. I think he's trying to stop the bleeding. He realizes how many coins are out there, how many people got bonuses, very, very, very large bonuses, from the pools that happened whenever the first sacrifice took place. You've got to get some of these large whales that just continue to sell out of the equation. And I think he's talks about experimenting. Do what you can to get him out now. We're not going to, obviously not going to run the price up. Things aren't. It's not the right situation or scenario for that. So I really think that having their own merit is probably the right thing to do. Now, you are going to be working heavily with the impermanent loss. You will end up with a lot more of the token than the USD if you pair them equally on V2 or however you decide to do it. You do have to put in ratios, right? You're putting in the same amount on each side. You're going to end up heavy on the coin. This may be a good way to DCA as well. A strategic way to DCA if you've got some money in some of the tokens. It may not be a bad idea to do it that way and increase your stack if you're looking to DCA. Everything pulling, Hart's Law was talked about for so long. And here it is biting us in the ass. Now, it's great for when everything runs up, but it's terrible when everything is down only for as long as it's been. So
Mhm.
I think you accomplish a couple things. I think, again, you're stopping the bleeding from things that don't need to be hurt by the price. I think everybody has always looked badly on Hex and said how bad it's inflated. And, I saw too spooky a couple comments,
Yeah.
and
That's what I meant
um,
by lots of people in the ecosystem, but sorry.
very, very critical of Hex sellers. Um, but I don't see much Hex for sale.
Yeah.
I don't see much natural selling, because the inflation has been taken basically away. The small rolling stakes, uh, not seeing a whole lot of those. They're just not worthwhile anymore. You're not getting, the yield that you used to from that. Um, I think it would change people's opinions of a lot of things and say, well, right there is where the problem is, because you could point it out, right? This
Mhm.
is the only coin that's dumping. People seem to be holding on to their Pulse X or holding on to their Hex. Pulse is the one that is being dumped, or it could be Pulse X. I'm not saying one or the other, but
Yeah.
I think it would definitely help some of the other things maintain where they're at, a little bit better. So, I think, give this a little bit more time here, and I could potentially end up doing this as a way to DCA, and try to end up with a little bit better of a position. Because again, I'm more focused on units, right now. I know we are so undervalued. I still believe in it. I still believe Richard has not gotten the taste of his glory at all. And he definitely has something to prove. So, but in the meantime, you've got to shake people out, people that don't want to be here, people that don't believe. I see plenty of it on X. you know, they're out there. There's so many people that are so hateful that have left for other communities that have, but still talk shit about it. I find that funny. They've gone to other communities, but will still talk badly.
Yeah,
Um,
if the grass is greener on the other side and you're in the right place now, why would you even, I mean, concern
yep.
yourself with it? Which that is, I'm sorry to steal your thunder and interrupt you here, but yeah,
No, you're good.
I think that's completely the whole point of still being in this ecosystem is the polarization. Like, I'm sorry, I don't like maybe I could educate myself more on Chia or Telcoin or something like that, but I there doesn't seem to be much love or hate, frankly. We have a
No.
lot of hate for us, and love and hate are very close. They're both extremely polarizing, and
Mhm.
I'm with you. I mean, if the grass is greener and you moved on and everything's fine in my life now, but it's like when you break up with a girl or something and you're like constantly like, or the girlfriend breaks up with a guy and all of a sudden it's all these new pictures on Facebook of me and the new guy. Look how happy I am. Oh my God, look, we're so happy. Like the fake social media stuff. That's what these people are doing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny.
Yep. Very funny. But I again, I do think something needs to be done, or each coin will just continue to drag each other down, if it's not done. So yeah, let's experiment. Let's try it.
Yeah,
And if anything, if it doesn't really help, you're still DCAing. But again, I would only do this if you're interested in DCAing some of your stable, into the markets, right? Don't do this as just a way to try and get yield from fees. You're going to end up with a lot more of the token, as price continues to go down, or you'll end up with USDC as it goes up and prices you out. So,
yeah, you don't want that.
um, keep that in mind. You are going to have some impermanent loss one way or another.
So it sounds like you do think. I mean, usually when Richard posts like this, it's indicative that something is coming. It's not just random
Yeah.
whimsical stuff. So you do think there are going to be maybe liquidity pools coming here, that may make sense to get involved with again, because we've been without them for over a year now, like we said on Pulse X. So
Well, that's another thing. Okay, are you going to incentivize this, Richard? Do you want people to really do this? And if so, there's one way to show them that you really want them to do that, and that would be to increase some of the incentive percentages, at least on Pulse X.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it will be interesting because it's been a long time since we've had anything. Now, of course, this is more talking about, you know, LPing with a stable versus one of these tokens instead of just like the Pulse X farm that you and I did. But yeah, will be very interesting to see. I think this is one of the most interesting posts he's put out in weeks, if not months, honestly. So yeah, interesting to see where that will go. Unless you had anything else on that, do you want to transfer over? This is kind of just staying in the same vein as just where prices are right now and with Richard posts. This is more of a 1,000-foot view type thing, but he posted about the prices of things being down right now, like across everywhere. I sent it to you. I forget. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So kind of getting back to Richard's thoughts on, the prices of everything as well as the ecosystem. So he just said the other day, S&P 500 at or near all-time highs, gold all-time highs, Bitcoin half off, Ethereum half off, and more than half off, and any other crypto you might own more than half off. Yeah, try 90+%. Which, by the way, I have to say this live on air because it pissed me off. It irritated me so much the other night. But the guy, I'm not going to say his name. I don't know who he was, but a guy commented on one of our videos the other day, like, Wall Street's the worst decision I've ever made. You guys have to admit it at this point. I've put $20,000 into this, and now I have $5,000. And I'm like, okay, let me do my math here. Carry the two. He's down only 75%. And this guy, yeah, I mean, like, we are a lot more wrecked percentage-wise than that. And honestly, I would trade places with that guy. Like, just to give you an idea, like, even though I've put, probably more than that in the market, I would, I'd like to be 75% down. I mean, honestly, he's beating the market. He's beating the altcoin market by being 75% down. So that's up to that guy. He should start a crypto index fund. But yeah, Richard says, any other crypto you might own more than half off. Weird and sucks. If you want to win, you have to just keep doing what works. Sometimes the price really has no relation to how good your stuff is. Sometimes people are broke and just must press the red button no matter how much they wish they could press green, which is understandable. Pulse Chain has higher throughput, lower fees, lower latency, flawless operation for 1,000 days. Pumped Out Tires launched, ProveX launched beta, and on. But if people just have to press green instead of red, it is what it is. And it's that everywhere. It's everywhere in crypto right now. So I think he's right. I mean, this isn't really something that a lot of people will want to hear because they just want to hear, like, well, I want my bags to go up. But he is right. And I guess maybe a counter argument to that would be like, well, if you think that Pulse Chain is this, top of the mountain, unique thing, why is it suffering as much as, if not more, than other things in crypto? I mean, for as much as Richard has done, can do, whatever, he just is not going to be bigger than market cycles and people having money. There's just no way to create that. And we've seen, like, if Ethereum itself, which is a unicorn, still probably the best creation, like, in the history of cryptocurrency. If it can't do much so far this cycle, cascading on down, how can you blame almost any altcoin under that umbrella? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, that's the thing we've been talking about is it doesn't matter how many resources Richard has and how he does like to buy his own stuff. He's tested the markets. There have been pumps where he's even said, an entity was buying the other day and you guys sold it right back down. Not going to happen. So we can't count on that. We shouldn't count on that. Obviously, the conditions are not right. He's not going to outplay that market at all yet. When the time is right, things will be what they will. But for the meantime, he's absolutely right. We're just, again, I go back to the fact that we're so undervalued for what we have here. And it just takes time. Time will be on our side. How dedicated are you? How most people, like I said, don't have money. They're paying their bills and making ends meet, but don't have the extra to put in currently. And the conditions just aren't agreeing. The retail is not here. Let's see what happens, though. I am curious to see if sentiment does change, if these daily dumps stop happening and things heat up. It does take a couple weeks, and people that aren't paying attention will miss it. Though I think I said it to you earlier. That's how the cycles usually go. They miss the first couple X's because they weren't paying attention, because they got frustrated and just stopped looking at things. And when prices are this low, you can lose a couple zeros pretty quickly and be like, holy shit, when did that happen?
Yeah.
So it will happen quickly. It'll happen suddenly when the turn happens, and when the change in overall sentiment does start head in the right direction. Um, if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. So keep putting little bits in if you're still interested in DCAing, little chunks. Don't put a paycheck in. $25, $50, something like that. Small little amounts at these levels are going to be incredible when things really do start to launch off.
Yeah. And I think you make a good point about the small DCAs too. Like even for the psychological benefit, like if you're
Yeah,
just down right now and you're feeling like, man, I'm scared, I don't want to put a lot of money in, but also we know how much of a kick in the nuts it is to just be sitting there not being even able to DCA at all. Like it's just psychologically when you can't do anything and you're sitting on your hands, it's very tough.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, any little thing that you can or want to throw in. Obviously, we're not telling you to buy now and advising you financially, but um, I bought almost about a regular clip DCA today for the first time in a long time. But it'll probably go down 90%, like Ewok speculated about earlier on.
yeah.
Hex Girl somehow defeated the algorithm here and got a comment to come through. If you guys are just tuning in and wondering why we're ignoring you or your comments aren't coming through, it's because YouTube's having an international, some kind of outage with live chat. But she says it is the only truly decentralized system. It will be recognized when the crypto market goes up. I agree with you. I mean, I still, as far down as we are and as, cope sounding as that can sound, we just have not had the conditions for Richard to, let a full clip out. You know what I mean? We just have
Yep.
not had. You think about Hex in 2020 and 2021, you think about Ethereum in those years too. We haven't even sniffed anything. I mean, we've gotten nowhere near that environment. And if I were him, I wouldn't have wasted a lot of time or energy on doing any of that stuff. And you also wonder too, I don't mean to totally I think the comments are working now. So Crypto 7, welcome in. Bitfinesse, welcome to you. So yeah, I think we're all good now. That's awesome. But I even wonder this too, Ewok. We've seen some people have said, like, is there a slowing down of the marketing and the tablets? And of course, people have criticized those as they do anything else the whole way through. But even that, I mean, do you think maybe you save some of that? Like, I don't know if they actually are tapering off deliveries, or if maybe there's been this is total speculation, but if there's been any kind of advisement to say, hey, you know what, just hang on to that shipment for a little while or something. I mean, I know they're cheap, like I know the return on investment for those as a marketing tool is great, but do you think maybe there's a purposeful, let's not get these totally out there in full force? Because clearly Richard made it plain as day. Last June, which, my God, that's 8 months ago now.
Yeah, seems like forever.
I remember it was Father's Day, I'm pretty sure, or the week before Father's Day. But he posted, like, imagine prices going up everywhere. Like, he was envisioning, like, this is what the bull market's going to be later this year. No, it didn't happen at all. So, yeah, do you think he's maybe purposely sitting or having people sit on the marketing stuff at all, Ewok?
Possibly. I still think there's a bunch. I still think they're getting them in the hands of people that are going to conferences, that have a large gathering or something to pass them out. You still want brand recognition. You still want people to see that before it happens, right? So that when it does happen, they're familiar with it already, and they've already seen that somewhere else. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad time, or that you would want to stop. Maybe slow down, get them in the right hands anyway of people that are into this stuff. At least you start there. You're not sending them to random people. Again, retail's not anywhere close. So I think the do you stop? No. Again, I think you kind
Or
of
just, or
pull.
just or just maybe slow it down. I don't know.
Yeah, you
That's
pull back a little. I think you pull back a little. But again, I still think that again, you want the brand recognition out there. You want people to see it at least in the right places. So
mhm.
yeah, I think I think they want to get rid of them too. Believe me,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
got a lot of people that have been donating a lot of time. Thanks to them, by the way. I would shout them out, man.
Hmm.
There people been volunteering day after day after day, shipping these tablets out there to people and sending cases and pallets and
Yeah.
so again, shout out to them. Thank you for doing it. If I were closer, I would volunteer some time as well. Just happens to be pretty far away from
Yeah,
us.
we're
So,
pretty far away. But yeah, it is awesome what they're doing. I very much appreciate it, and another unique thing with this ecosystem. So, I'll tell you what.
and this too,
Oh, okay. I was just gonna
Well,
say
but
maybe we can just start like doing chat reactions here since they've been stunted this whole episode. So yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
well,
You
first let's go with the donation here. The
okay?
Iran.
I always struggle with this name, Iran. I don't give a shit. But hey, we appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the $6 super chat, Irana. I can't do it. No matter what I do when I try to start
Schools.
the order.
I
Something schools.
run all schools.
Yeah. Seems like a Bart Simpson prank that we must be saying something we don't realize we're saying or something like that. But he says in all caps, as he frequently does, he or she, I don't know. He says, "Prove X is RH final stand." He he misses on this one. No one will give him one dime again. Tell us how he can guarantee, quote unquote, a win to save his name in this space. You want to go with that first, Ewok?
Well, first of all, there's no guarantees in this space. As anybody that should know or has been around for any period of time, all this shit can go to zero, man. It's as easy as that. Now, the odds of that happening very, very low. But I think the markets are just not in the right condition. It's all across the board. It's not Richard. It's not, he's going to keep trying. He's going to keep trying shit until something sticks, and it will eventually. He's not a dummy by any means. So he's looking for glory. I just, you know, the timing needs to be there.
That is the main point that we kind of keep coming back to week is Richard is not going to stop. Like, I mean, look at how bad this entire market is right now. I mean, you look at I know the only reason I'm bringing this up is because they're frequently brought up in relation to kind of being comparable to Paul's chain, even though they're really not. But what was Phantom the last bull cycle, which was very, very DeFi heavy. They had like spooky swap, spirit swap. Like, I know you can keep that up there because I want to keep responding to him. But they were very DeFi heavy, and I was intrigued by them. And I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with Phantom, which is now called Sonic. It probably participated with them, maybe bought it at $3.10 and wrote it down 95%, because that doesn't just happen to Hex and Paul's chain. But a lot of people compare them kind of with where we're at right now. And yeah, Sonic's down, I don't know, 95+%. And the comparison I was going to make is you've got Richard, okay, with everybody, the founder's missing, blah, 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 all this stuff. Where are all these other guys on streams? Like, we know that Andre Cronje has up and left crypto before, who is like the lead dev, the most synonymous, famous name with Phantom and Sonic, basically. I don't care if he should be or not, but he is. And he has flat out left. I mean, you could say he's rugged it. He's totally abandoned it, done a whole post on Twitter. I'm walking away from the space, blah, 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 blah. They had some relationship with like Urine Finance or whatever, and it cratered like, I don't know how many 50% in a day. I mean, I want people who are not flaky, non-crypto people. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we keep coming back to Richard, because he is a bull. He's not going to leave. I mean, if I would be, I'll put it this way, I would be completely stunned if something like that were to happen. You can't know anything, obviously, but this guy gives a shit. And all these people talking about like, oh, he's missing, he's running away or whatever. He wants to strike when the iron is hot. He hired the most expensive team of 11 lawyers that money can buy and defeated the SEC mano a mano in court with a judge. Not a settlement, nothing else. Like precedent setting. No one else has this kind of precedent in all of cryptocurrency. It's just that nobody cares or knows about it because they don't care and it's not going to be covered, and they're going to know whenever things start moving up. I mean, that's what it is. It's a doubling down, like whether the products are great or not, which obviously we think that they are good. It is a factor, but it's mainly a bet on the ethos of Richard Hart. Just like it is, I think, in the stock market when people back stuff that Elon Musk has done, even though he's gotten very weird over the years. Donald Trump, guys like that. I mean, I think Richard is much more stable than both those guys. But yeah, I don't know. That's what it is. So, I mean, if you don't want to bet on that, Irano, whatever schools, then that's okay. I know you have this mentality of like, if he doesn't do it with Prove X, then he's failed or whatever. I mean, I think somebody's going to give him a dime again because they just gave him $16.5 million for Prove X, actually, which is nothing, by the way. So, yeah, I get it. I get where you're coming from. If you want to put all the heat on Richard, that's totally fine. I just think that's like kind of not just skirting responsibility, but also like just ignoring everything that's going on here. Yes, we are down. Yes, we're down more than some others, but not like exceptionally screwed more than any other altcoin, yeah. So anyway, any final thoughts on that one, Ewok?
No, but I think this has a lot to do with it too.
Go ahead.
Fishcracker says if Interpool thing falls off, then we're off to the races. I don't know about immediately, but it will be a, since the one Interpool thing, I don't know if we talked about this at all. What was it? Assault charges were dropped.
Yeah.
So that's huge. People, especially because it was a minor, that was important to a lot of people. A lot of investors didn't want to touch it. Can they get by with the tax fraud? Well, John McAfee had a lot of fans, and he was known for tax evasion or whatever it was. Governments try to take money that doesn't belong to them a lot.
Right.
So they can look past it, right? They can see, well, Finland, was he even in Finland? Did this belong to Finland? There's a lot of very gray areas there with that. So if that falls off too, and I'm sure, again, I'm not knowing, I'm speculating that the lawyers are also working on this. If this was in a trust in a different area, we know Richard's pretty savvy with the whole trust and the educational charities and things like that. Do they have a right to it? They probably don't. But to get them to drop it and admit that they were wrong could take some time. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, I don't think people are too concerned about the tax stuff. Especially when they look into it. Big investors know that governments try to do that overreach stuff. So I'm glad the assault charge went away. At least that's a step in the right direction. And at least we know somebody's working on it, right? That is a good sign in itself. They don't just decide to, well, we're just going to drop it. Somebody's pressing the issue with it. So that's definitely a positive thing.
And everything you said is totally correct. Like I love how people, and you would think if you're involved in crypto, you'd be smarter than this, with being wise to the things that government entities do. But you look at the SEC, you look at the governments of some of these other countries, and you look at the U.S. government. I mean, they want their money, and they basically by proxy can file a lawsuit, make a claim, and look like they're correct because they're a large government entity, and they just are, correct in the court of public opinion just because they are a government entity. And it doesn't work that way. Like Richard Hart, a guy from Florida that just hired some attorneys and created a couple cryptocurrencies, beat the SEC in court. and it wasn't particularly close at all. I mean, he fucking dominated them. I mean, if
He
you go
did.
back, some of you people should go back if you weren't here for it and read what the judge said about all that. I mean, we had a stream on this channel that Ewok ditched us for, and I had to do solo, where I read through the honorable Judge Amon's decision on all that. So, yeah, it was domination. You know, it was 1990s Yankees versus, you know, whatever shit franchise you want to say. So anyway, yeah, I'm with you though, with Fish Crackers thing here. I definitely don't think anything's off to the races at all. I don't think there's anything like that. However, I do think that could be a catalyst to, like, maybe I'll start live streaming. Like, maybe this is the end of feeling like I need to taking every precaution. And why would you not at this point? I would not go out of my way. I mean, would he have had a unique problem had the market done a classical bull market over the last 6 months when he felt stunted, when he could have streamed? Yeah, I think that would have kind of sucked. But now it's like, all right, well, you got lemons, make lemonade with them, basically, and let's wait this shit out. And yeah, honestly, I think there's a aggravated tax fraud or whatever. I mean, it's just essentially we want money as a Finland government that isn't actually ours. And yeah, we're going to follow, you know, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, you name it. If you've got money, Jeff Bezos, if you've got money, entities like that are going to come after it and claim that they have a piece of the pie, you know.
Yep.
So I personally could care less about it, but yeah, I'm with you, Fish Cracker. I think it will be a catalyst. I don't think it'll be immediately off to the races, but I think it'll free him up to, you know, maybe be around a little bit more often. So, see if there's another comment to go through. I don't really care about getting to any other topics we wrote down. If you don't, Ewok, I don't know if you do. I was just trying to see if there's any other comments here. Beach Whale complaining about commercials like he always does. RH Max, what's up to you? Yeah, I don't really see much else there. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's any other things we want to get to. Do you want to cover anything, Ewok, here?
No. Something we can bring up though pretty quickly. Internet Money Wallet put some new updates out. Check them out if you haven't used it yet, or you know, if you haven't tried it, give them a shot. It's definitely so. When they first came on the scene, I did criticize KG for it and said it looked very cartoony, almost like the font
video gamey.
Yeah, old video gamey. It just didn't look, I didn't feel that it looked professional. They have since cleaned up the fonts. It looks so much better. One of the things when you first logged in to get your seed words, they were very hard to read. Was one of the frustrating things that even DGen Moonboy had mentioned too. He's like, this scares me. He's like, I don't even like the looks of it because you can hardly read them. So, you know, anyway, it's been cleaned up. They've done a lot of upgrades. The speed is a lot faster. And I like it a lot. It looks great. It's super quick. Works fantastic. They've covered all the different ways to connect to all the platforms. So yeah, if you haven't checked them out, give them you know, this is not a sponsored thing at all. But we both like it and use it. So give them a shot if you haven't.
Why don't you go ahead? I just, for the heck of it, sent you Crypto Coffee's post about it whenever it came out, just so we can give a snapshot of what the new interface does kind of look at. It just kind of lists like what the tokens in the wallet looks like anyway. So that way we can kind of just display it anyway. But yeah, I honestly never, I didn't think as negatively or whatever about like the old font myself, but I know you talked about it, and actually when I heard Crypto Coffee streaming about this one day, he said the same thing you did, that he was never a fan of the font at all. So yeah, he just says Internet Money Wallet got a user interface update. I think it looks great. Works for Ethereum, Pulse Chain, Bitcoin, and more. Would you recommend it to a friend? Yeah, definitely would. So yeah, you kind of just honestly they benefited from just making things look more boring, honestly.
Yeah.
But in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, this just looks, like if I look at this picture, I'm like, yeah, okay, so what? Well, before it was a little more confusing looking, I think, and this is very, very clear. And the point of it is that it operates extremely well with like all the pulse chain dexes and things like that. Whereas, MetaMask has not done well for a while. You could never get all these tokens that's being displayed right there in MetaMask. If you did, you'd have to import them all manually, only for them to likely like disappear the next day. I've had that happen to me.
Mhm.
There's just not full integrated support for Pulse Chain on MetaMask. Rabby Wallet, I think we can pretty much say the same thing. I don't even hear anyone talk about them anymore. Yeah, so that is a good upgrade, I think, definitely. And we've had KG on before. Awesome dude, one of my favorite people in the ecosystem. But yeah, from Bitfinesse, he says, did you have to input your seed after you ran the wallet update? MetaMask did that a while ago, so I haven't updated. Yo, in crypto, fuck updates. Just glad it works, man. Yeah.
And no, it changes on its own. You don't have to re-enter seeds. You don't have to reinstall anything. It just happens automatically. So,
yeah. Yep. Using Internet Money Wallet is like wiping your ass and the paper comes out clean as snow. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Like a bidet, which Richard knows a lot about. Yeah. So, I had one other point on what he just said about that. Yeah.
about wiping his ass.
No, not about the ass part, but yeah, with your seed phrase. I got one thing I was just going to say as well is keep in mind too, and I'm sure Bitfinesse knows this, but if you are linking up a hardware wallet to any of these platforms, whether it be Internet Money, MetaMask, Rabby, whatever it is, keep in mind you do not want to be entering your hardware wallet seed phrase to import it. I have absent-mindedly, I did that back in the day one time, which I mean, isn't as if you have it stored in your cloud setting somewhere or whatever, but essentially you made it a hot wallet by doing that because now you've entered your seed phrase into it and it kind of takes away the
extra security.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. So keep in mind, there's a way to do that. If you want to look at a tutorial for it, I mean, KG has made plenty of them on YouTube. You want to make sure that you go in and like link your hardware wallet by it detecting it instead of, you should be clicking to get it to link to it. You should not have to enter your hardware wallet seed phrase. So yeah.
Hey, real quick, while Bitfinesse is here, I know I said something a couple weeks ago, but I got a very suspicious text message or instant message from your X account. Hopefully you got that squared away and you're aware that somebody's been messaging people with your account. I don't know if you caught that the last time or not. Hopefully you've got that squared away, but just wanted to let you know.
Somebody trying to bit fuck us, I guess, out there. But
yeah, and while I'm on that topic, a lot of people I've been getting these messages. So to vote on this influencer hub type thing, just know, guys, it's a scam. It will take your I think it makes you log in through Google and it will steal your password and all your Google anything that's affiliated with it. So just be very cautious of clicking on any link from anyone, even if it's someone you know. Like I've known Bitfinesse for years, online, of course, but it wouldn't surprise me to get a message. And, so just be careful. Don't click on any kind of link from anyone unless you're absolutely sure of what it is. So just be very careful. Somebody took over his account and started sending stuff out, and he said it's still hacked.
It's happened to you before.
It has.
Yeah, because you DM me some weird shit that I immediately was like, okay, something's weird. And I, unfortunately, for your sake, had to block you temporarily.
Yeah, and I got it controlled back pretty much right away. But not everybody's that lucky. He just said it's still hacked, and X, they're not helping them. So
yeah. Yep. Yes, exactly. Hexagon lost in Asia. You are correct. You want to make sure your hardware wallet you are not importing the seed phrase for. So good stuff. Cool. Well, hey, appreciate the active chat for the second half of the show after YouTube unrugged it. So love all you guys being here. We do this every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of interesting stuff tonight. So we're going to see how this Jane Street story develops. Where's that going to go in the coming weeks? Will this be a catalyst for maybe a little bit of a continued move up, or are we all just getting fooled once again? And Bitcoin is destined for 35K and October, just like everybody says it is. It's Bitcoin is going home. It's going back to $35,000. It'll be in October of 2026, the 4-year cycle. I don't know. Is it going to happen the way that everybody? I love one of my favorite new memes is the Buzz Lightyear doll in the packaging with like when he's with 1,000 other Buzz Lightyears, and they just basically say Bitcoin will bottom at $35,000 in Q4 of 2026, and it's all the Buzz Lightyears just insinuating that everybody is saying the same thing. That's certainly how it feels. So yeah, I'm hoping they're wrong, but we've been wrong for a long time. So guess we'll see. But we're not going anywhere. That's the key. To go back to the Richard Hart statement. So any final thoughts tonight, Ewok?
No, hang in there, people. It's been a long journey so far. Why end it now, right?
Yeah,
this will turn around and it'll get better.
Yep, not going anywhere. And Brown conservative capitalist has been using the downtime to build my hex positions on both chains. Whether it's that, whether you're working away at your job, whether you have a company that you're running, I don't know, anything to, even if it isn't something that's like, I know we're also like monetarily focused all the time, but even if it's just a distraction, like something to, every moment of your life doesn't have to be like, I'm getting better one day at a time, grind culture, anything. Like I've talked to you guys like a year ago. I mean, kind of later for me to finally pick this up, but I started reading fiction for the first time in my life, and it's been a huge enhancement to my life. And nice little. I feel like I've seen every good movie there is to see, so I figure I move on to reading, and that's been awesome. So whatever it is, to help you get through this, grab the bull by the horns, and whatever life pulls you to do it. So. Anyway,
Renola, thank you for the other super chat. We probably didn't see it or didn't get it, but we appreciate it.
It might have been YouTube. So if you did send another super chat and they screwed you, I mean, it's not us. So it sucks that happened, but I would, if YouTube is doing that, please do not send more super chats for now. First time anybody said do not send super chats. I don't know what's up with YouTube, but we appreciate you, man. Glad to answer your question earlier. So appreciate all you guys. We will be back next week. The Ides of March. We will be here next Wednesday night. So for Crypto Ewok, I have to get out of here. The men's formal wear section has a shift I got to pick up tonight at Boskov. So we'll see you guys next week right here on the Creative Crypto. See you guys.
See y'all.